What's going on, WrestleTalk friends and fans? Your new Jam That Champion, Tempest, is here with his review of Money in the Bank 2022. And there was no pre-show. Well, there was, but there wasn't a match as per WWE standards. So we jumped right into things with a particularly hard to watch women's Money in the Bank match. This wasn't one of the better Money in the Bank matches we've seen. There were a lot of spots gone wrong. Shotzi Blackheart in particular had a rough night, so lay off of her. She was getting plenty of flack on Twitter, and that is not necessary. We're all wrestling fans. We don't need to make people feel bad for their mistakes. But that being said, it was hard to watch at times, and this match was one in particular where I like to watch Money in the Bank matches and know that there's some element of danger. There's some element of extreme action involved. But that is only fun to me when I know it is a performance. And this was a match where the performance aspect of it started to become blurred, and I actually did become worried for the competitor's safety. And at that point, that just kind of killed the match for me. And I know it killed the match for many others, but Liv Morgan did manage to pull off a fantastic finish to this match. She recreated John Morrison's finish from TLC 2010 against Sheamus, where the ladder was tipped over. She caught herself on the top rope and then used the top rope to spring back and knock Becky Lynch off of the ladder, climb up, and get the briefcase. Now, this was met very positively both in the room and by fans. We were very much looking forward to see what came next for Liv Morgan. Little did we know that we were going to get that answer very quickly, because later in the show, I'll save that. Take this ride with me, because there were plenty of interesting moments on this show as well, including the next match, which was Bobby Lashley taking on Theory for the United States Championship. Now, Adam and I, we had different opinions on what might happen in this match, but neither of us really thought that Theory was going to lose this championship, and that is exactly what happened, as this was a pretty short match. I say that. It went 11 minutes, so a decent length mid-card match. And I think Austin Theory's character is woven into his matches much more organically than many other wrestlers on the WWE roster. His backing off and playing the cowardly heel and trying to get a quick win by countout made this match really enjoyable. Even though not a lot was happening, I just like seeing certain heels approach situations differently, and he's one of the ones that really does that. Now, of course, didn't get in a great amount of offense on Bobby Lashley. He managed to take advantage of Bobby Lashley. It looked like he may have hurt his knee at one point in the match. Austin Theory tried to jump onto Bobby Lashley's shoulders, and Bobby Lashley kind of collapsed, and we were hoping at this moment that this wouldn't become a curse show. But thankfully, we were able to avoid just about any other real mishaps for the rest of the show. So that was very good. But Bobby Lashley threw Austin Theory into the post, and it looked like he avoided a knee injury. That was a big thumbs up there. Big thumbs up for that. Don't want injuries on this show by any means. But Lashley, to our surprise certainly, we weren't expecting him to win this title, but he locked in the Hurt Lock and managed to get the clean submission win on Theory. Now, as the Ultra Chats managed to point out, this could mean that we would get Bobby Lashley against Walter at Survivor Series. And talk about a dream match that I didn't even know that I had. If we get to that point, that is an excellent reason to put the U.S. title on Bobby Lashley, because, I mean, it's the U.S. title. It still doesn't really matter that much. But if it means we get matches like that, that's good for the title, that's good for my enjoyment, and hell, hopefully it's good for your enjoyment too. But we move on to the next match as well, because we had the next title match, that being Bianca Belair taking on Carmella. Now, this wasn't particularly close. Bianca Belair kind of dominated this match to the point where she got a decisive win, where Carmella slapped her and you could see the fire in Bianca's face, and she immediately hit one really mean punch and the KOD for the win. There really wasn't too much to it. This was a solid enough match, but it felt like the kind of match that a babyface champion needs every once in a while to just get a clean win over a heel. Sometimes the babyface is just the better wrestler, and this was one of those moments. And funny enough, it seemed like the perfect kind of match to be a one-and-done pay-per-view cycle, but that's not how things work in WWE, of course. This match, of course, will happen again because Carmella beat down Bianca Belair afterwards, and whether that leads to something at SummerSlam or something on Raw, we Still have to see. But Carmella did not get nearly enough offense in this match to justify another title shot, so it will have to be Bianca Belair saying that she wants another shot at Carmella to get payback and such. Whether I will care to see that, not so much. But hey, this match was decent enough. If they are able to repeat this on Raw, I think they should be in pretty good shape. Then we got what was the best non-Money in the Bank match on the show. So I guess just the second best match on the show. As we got the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match as the Usos took on the Street Profits. Now these are two teams that have had an unbelievable rivalry over the last few years. One of the better tag team rivalries in WWE history, honestly. And that's more a statement on WWE's tag team history than this feud in particular, but it has been very good. And these two teams have a lot of chemistry together. And you could kind of tell that from their promo on SmackDown that there was a little bit more fire being brought to this match. They were stealing each other's promos, they were stealing each other's catchphrases. It was very good stuff. And yeah, they brought it into this match. I see no reason why Montez Ford cannot be in this tag team and also pushed as a main event single star, because he has it. They are looking for people that have it all the time, and he has it so clearly and so convincingly. His poise, his timing, his charisma, his move, his athleticism, everything about Montez Ford screams top star, and I don't understand why it's taken this long. And hey, if it all pans out and all works out lovely, I will be a happy camper. But hey, Montez Ford was the star of this match. And that's not to say anybody else did poor. Everybody brought it in this match. The Usos managed to hit an unbelievable, the Shelton Benjamin jump off the rope spot and get super kicked by Shawn Michaels. They did it again here, and it also looked fantastic. Angelo Dawkins had a fantastic hot tag as well. He was fantastic. Everybody in this match was fantastic. This has been a really strong year for tag team wrestling, and thankfully it's nice to see WWE getting in on that still, because hey, the Usos are still one of the best tag teams in the world, and they proved it on this night. This was one of their best performances, and I think this might have been their best match since fans returned. I could be wrong, but none others really come to mind. And they were able to get this win after a bunch of very close near falls, finishers being kicked out of and broken up. Finally, they were able to hit a double super kick and the frog splash, and they were able to get the win. You cannot ask for more out of a match like this, only for the crowd to actually do the standing ovation when they do the standing ovation spot. So work on that, Vegas. You be better next time. And then, of course, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match as Ronda Rousey defended against Natalya. Oh my God, this match was like 3 times longer than it needed to be. Genuinely, the ending portion of this match was not bad. From the moment they went out to the apron and Ronda Rousey was put in the sharpshooter and she managed to roll over and trip Natalya and send her into the post head first, everything after that was solid. They did good submission exchanges and then went right to the finish. And if you had just had this be like a 4 to 5 minute sprint of a match, I think this would have been one of the better things on this card, but no one buys Natalya as a credible challenger for Ronda Rousey. I'm sorry, Ronda Rousey is not going to be out-wrestled and made to submit by Natalya. That's just the way it is. And unfortunately, at this point in the card, people weren't going to go up for this match. They might have if it was shorter and you just started with finishers and head into the post and stuff like that. If there was no meandering and it was a quick match, I think it would have been very good, but c'est la vie. Unfortunately, we get Liv Morgan to talk about again, because Natalya was not successful in defeating Ronda Rousey, but she did bang her up a little bit. And that's when Liv Morgan came down to the ring, and she was the one to once again cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase under 24 hours. The 5th year in a row. Unacceptable. I don't understand how you can tell the same story 5 years in a row and not think that something is up. But hey, Liv Morgan got a really, really cool moment. She was obviously very emotional, and I don't want to take that away from her whatsoever. This was very cool for her. I'm very happy for her. I just would have liked to have seen a bigger build-up and payoff for it. This could have been a really huge moment for her, and it is, but I think it could have been even bigger. Then we got the main event, that being the men's Money in the Bank match with extra participant, Theory. Not anybody a little bit more interesting than that, just Theory. And you could kind of tell that the fans were not quite down with that. And this was a pretty solid Money in the Bank match. It didn't quite hit the heights that last year's did, but that one was probably the best Money in the Bank match ever. And yet, this was still very fun. They buried Omos under a bunch of ladders because, Lord knows, once you're buried under ladders, they're so heavy you just can't get out of them. Theory, of course, ended up winning the match, but not after. Riddle had an excellent performance, hitting a huge floating bro off the top of a ladder onto the pile, and a big RKO on Seth Rollins that really looked like it knocked him batty. I'm glad that it doesn't appear that anybody's been hurt, but I'm going to cross my fingers that that ends up being the long-term outcome, and Theory was the winner, and the show went off the air. So overall, this was kind of a weird show. We also got a promo that apparently will be for Edge, where it referenced like the Hardys and Christian and the Dudleys and maybe Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. We thought it might have been Gable Steveson or something like that. I don't know. If it ends up being Edge, slightly strange, but I'll see where it goes next. As for the whole show, it was good at parts, and at other parts it was very, very sloppy and dangerous. And if you can skip those parts and only watch the good parts, you'll have a good time. But if you're watching this show as a whole, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I'm going to go 3 out of 5 because I really enjoyed the main event and I really enjoyed some of the finer moments. But overall, solid. And there's a new Jam That Champion. Jam that jam, y'all. LIW for life.